The first visitor tonight is a legend. Two-time Oscar winner and human rights activist regularly detained. Say hi to the unique Jane Fonda. Welcome to Stars Rewind. Jane Fonda, an actress with 2 Oscars and many other honors, represents resilience, innovation, and hard work. Jane went from Hollywood beauty icon to social activist, novelist, and fashion model at 87, enduring hardships and triumphs. Jane Fonda is admired for her tenacity in overcoming childhood wounds, a complex connection with her father, stormy marriages, and a cancer diagnosis. She has won on screen and as a powerful woman fighting for social justice, environmental protection, and injustice. What amazes the world at 87? Jane Fonda lives, battles, and shines in her own way. Join us as we examine her spectacular career, hidden challenges, and untold tenacity. Early life. Jane Fonda was born in New York City on December 21, 1937, into a prominent family. That dazzling image hid hidden fissures that few knew about. Her father, Henry Fonda, was a Hollywood icon who modeled many strong, honorable characters. Henry was chilly and aloof in real life. He kept his distance from his children and rarely showed emotion. Jane wanted her father's love and recognition but didn't know how to contact him, complicating their connection. Frances Ford Seymour, Jane's mother, was beautiful and aristocratic, but she had profound psychological traumas. Frances struggled with life and a distant husband. Jane felt lonely and abandoned as a youngster due to her melancholy and mental instability. Jane loved and respected her chilly father. She spent her life trying to please him, even becoming an actress to do so. Jane's performance in On Golden Pond with her father was a highlight. She went above the script to touch Henry's heart in an emotional scene. It was the first time Jane had a real connection with her father, a reconciliation of 2 emotionally distant people. At 12, Jane was devastated when her mother, Frances, committed herself following years of mental illness. Jane's loss was irreplaceable and shaped her outlook on life. Jane's father initially informed her her mother died of a heart attack. She discovered the facts through a newspaper piece later. Jane felt sorry about her mother's abrupt death and not knowing the cause. She wondered whether she might have helped her. Jane's love relationships and self-image were shaped by her childhood trauma. She felt unlovable all the time. She always seeks approval, especially from men. Despite the losses and sufferings, she found inner strength and became the world-admired resilient woman. Career and significant roles. Jane Fonda turned to acting to escape her past and earn her father's approval after a difficult upbringing. Her career and manner to express herself, overcome her traumas, and find her value in life were acting. Jane went from Hollywood star to respected actress and courageous social campaigner. Classic roles that objectified women launched Jane Fonda's career. One of her first major roles was in Barbarella, 1968, directed by her then-husband Roger Vadim. The film's provocative clothes made Jane a Hollywood sex queen and a 1960s symbol. Behind the popularity, Jane struggled with her sensual image, which did not reflect her principles and independence. Barbara combined feminism and objectification. Jane's character may operate her starship and save a planet. Her sexual exploits dominated the plot. The provocative clothing and sensuous presentation made Jane feel like a cliché. Jane said she drank wine to alleviate her fear of filming such dangerous sequences. Jane left her marriage to Vadim and returned to the U.S. to start a new life and profession after this event. And they shoot horses, don't they? Jane Fonda changed. 1969. Social realism and the anguish of Great Depression dance marathon participants set this picture apart from Barbarella. Jane played a desperate lady who entered the contest for money and committed suicide. Jane realized she liked acting and found significance in her career for the first time when she explored deep social and human issues. She received her first Oscar nomination for this role, which displayed her acting skills and changed her career. Beauty icon Jane Fonda was also a great actress with complex roles. The psychological thriller Clute, 1971, in which she played prostitute Bree Daniels, was her first great triumph. With extensive research and a deep understanding of the character, Jane played Bree with great sincerity and complexity. She won her first Oscar for her performance, demonstrating her acting talent and willingness to change. Jane wore a black suit with a Mao collar to the 1972 Oscars to protest the Vietnam War. When Hollywood was full of gorgeous gowns, Jane's choice was a political statement. It showed Jane was more than a cinematic star. She was a woman willing to use her voice and image to fight for her beliefs. Jane's second Oscar was for Coming Home, 1978, where she played a woman who falls in love with a Vietnam War veteran with significant psychological traumas. Coming Home was a love story and a passionate anti-war statement about war's repercussions. Jane prepared her acceptance speech in sign language to promote awareness and assist the deaf community, who are often forgotten at large events like the Oscars. This was one of her most memorable moments, showing her care for disadvantaged individuals and her determination to utilize her platform to help. Jane was also famous for the 1980 comedy 9 to 5. She co-starred alongside Lily Tomlin and Dolly Parton to portray female office workers' workplace harassment and injustice. One of the 1980s most successful comedies, the film showed Jane's dedication to women's rights. She started the project and starred in it. Experiences of female office workers she met during protests motivated her. The film was a hit, bringing amusement to serious social themes few dared explore. Personal life and marriage. As Jane Fonda endured several personal hardships after her acting success and award wins. Jane married Roger Vadim in 1965 when her acting career took off. French-Russian director Vadim was free-spirited and bohemian. Vadim directed Barbarella, which made Jane a 1960s sensuous icon. However, marriage to Vadim proved difficult. Jane reluctantly agreed to an open marriage because Vadim believed in free love. At that moment, Jane didn't know herself. She worked hard to please Vadim, feeling that was the only way to save their marriage. Vadim's independence devastated Jane deeply, leaving her lonely and disrespected. Vadim frequently sought Jane for money to pay his gambling bills, and she had to spend her mother's wealth to support him. Jane said that being forced to tolerate things in her marriage made her withdraw and lose her voice. In 1973, Jane divorced because she couldn't tolerate compromise and emotional suffering. Despite this, she and Vadim co-parented Vanessa as friends. Jane learned for the first time that love requires respect and sensitivity. Jane married Tom Hayden, a famous political activist who shared her social justice beliefs, in her second marriage. Soon after Jane divorced Vadim, they married in 1973. Both she and Hayden loved politics and wanted to alter society. Jane left her sexy Barbarella persona to become a powerful feminist activist who supported Hayden's political views. Acting and making her exercise videos made her the family's main income. Jane Fonda led the home exercise movement then. Jane Fonda Fitness was her debut fitness video, released in 1982. Her commercial project also raised money for Hayden's political campaigns, specifically to form and run campaign for economic democracy. Jane was surprised by the video's success. She only wanted to make home exercising easy and effective. Perfect timing for the video release. As home fitness became more popular, a hit, Jane Fonda Workout became the best-selling home exercise video of all time with its clear instructions and welcoming manner. It was the first training video to be this successful, and it made Jane Fonda a fitness icon, especially for women. Her training videos influenced millions of people worldwide, improving their health and promoting a more positive and confident lifestyle. Success and a loving wife weren't enough. Jane Fonda and Tom Hayden's relationship was rocky despite their shared values. Tom often criticized Jane's social behavior. This made Jane feel that she was never good enough and had to work harder to be accepted. Hayden suffered when he fell in love with another woman. She also realized it was time to leave her unhappy marriage. When her marriage dissolved in 1990, Jane gained independence and freedom. Jane's final marriage was to CNN founder Ted Turner in 1991. Ted Turner had a strong will. Jane had to quit her job to be his wife. She stopped acting, left politics, and sought to be Ted's perfect wife. She tried to change, even giving up her principles and passions for her husband. Eventually, Jane recognized she was losing her strength, independence, and enthusiasm after years of compromise. She divorced in 2001. Jane and Ted remained friends after their separation, and she said that if she had stayed, she would never have been fulfilled. After 3 turbulent marriages, Jane Fonda sought independence and self-awareness. Jane stopped looking for validation from others after breaking up with Ted Turner. She said she felt free for the first time and didn't need anyone to validate her. She pursued independence, environmental advocacy, and gender equality without dating anyone. Jane said living independently helped her become a whole woman, free from others' expectations. Jane Fonda's views on love and independence changed significantly. She recognized that her value came from her activities and contributions to society, not what others thought. Jane lives her life to the fullest at 87, dedicated to the world with passion. Redefining herself has always been her strength. After her divorce from Ted Turner, Jane Fonda returned to acting. She had been absent from the screen for 15 years, focused on her family and being the wife of one of America's most prominent men. So this was a daring move. Jane feared her acting career was ended and she would never return to Hollywood. However, in 2005, she appeared in Monster-in-Law with Jennifer Lopez. Monster-in-Law was Jane's comeback, and the film helped her regain audience love. Jane was a devious mother-in-law who provided plenty of laughs and rivaled Jennifer Lopez. The film was one of the year's most successful comedies due to its contrast. Jane said she chose Monster-in-Law because young people would see it for Jennifer Lopez but fall in love with Jane Fonda. The picture exceeded expectations, restoring Jane's love of performing. Following Monster-in-Law, Jane worked with Lily Tomlin on Grace and Frankie, 2015, to solidify her place in the entertainment sector. After working together for 9 to 5 in 1980, Jane and Lily became close friends. When Friends co-creator Marta Kaufman invited Jane and Lily to join Grace and Frankie, they were enthusiastic for a new adventure. After realizing that their husbands love each other and marrying, Grace, played by Jane Fonda, and Frankie, played by Lily Tomlin, transformed their lives. The concert was funny but yet had deep lessons about friendship, love, and life changes. Jane and Lily beautifully depicted two contrasting personalities, one elegant and polished, and the other free-spirited and bohemian, who become great friends after finding empathy in each other. Grace and Frankie was Netflix's longest-running comedy and enjoyed by all generations. The show made many elderly women laugh and inspired them to live a colorful and interesting life at whatever age. Jane said Grace and Frankie was a chance to return to performing and prove that aging doesn't limit creativity and fun. Jane's friendship with Lily Tomlin helped her stay passionate and feel loved and supported in her life and career. At nearly 85, Jane Fonda had another major illness. In September 2022, Jane reported her diagnosis with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a prevalent U.S. malignancy. She posted this on her own site, surprising everyone but demonstrating her calm and bright outlook. Jane believed she could treat the condition with 6 months of chemotherapy. Approximately 80% of non-Hodgkin lymphoma patients survive. She said she was lucky to have insurance and the greatest doctors, which not everyone in America has. Jane Fonda's illness was met with resilience, not panic or depression. She saw her sickness as a teacher, helping her adjust to life's hardships, especially in her latter years. Jane said the condition taught her to appreciate every moment and life's fragility. Cancer was a physical obstacle for Jane, but it also taught her about spirit and how to accept what we cannot control. Jane Fonda said she would continue her social and environmental work despite cancer. She joined climate change and human rights movements instead of relaxing and focused on treatment. She is confident that she can contribute to society and change the world no matter what. Jane Fonda's warmth and compassion make her remarkable. Jane expressed sadness in her sickness post while thinking of families that did not have the same medical care she did. She realized that she was one of the few who had access to high-quality health care, which made her want to do more to raise awareness about healthcare quality. For Jane Fonda, age, illness, or any limitation cannot prevent her from living a meaningful and dedicated life. Jane overcame her illness and resumed her profession, exploring new fields. Her stunning catwalk performance at 87, full of elegance and beauty, captured millions again and affected the public. Jane Fonda startled the world by walking the runway at Paris Fashion Week on September 23, 2024. Jane's warmth and energy on the runway enchanted everyone, including Kendall Jenner and Cara Delevingne. Jane was the oldest model on the runway, but she was no less attractive than the younger models. Jane teamed a sports attire with a dazzling silver long coat and sneakers for a stylish, comfy, and energetic look. The audience cheered and applauded her smooth, confident approach and pleasant smile. Jane winked at the crowd at the end of the runway, demonstrating her natural and personable nature, delighting fans with an unforgettable moment. After her theatrical performance, Jane Fonda's catwalk got thousands of online compliments. Her runway photographs went viral on social media, with thousands of comments praising her as an icon. Wow, one Instagram user said, almost 87 years old and still rocking the runway, and many others felt goosebumps watching her shine. Jane Fonda proves that confidence and beauty come from living authentically and never giving up on aspirations with every stride. Jane Fonda views death differently. She doesn't dread it, treating it as a fresh experience. She said in an interview that she would accept death with peace if it were now. She's amazed she's alive and contributing at 87 after thinking she wouldn't live past 30. Jane thinks death is inevitable and everyone must confront it. Death is not her biggest fear, but regrets from not making amends in time. Jane worries that her life will end with unfinished business, unresolved connections, and unspoken words. This inspires her to live fully, fix previous mistakes, and cherish time with loved ones. Jane laments her motherhood. She acknowledged to being a bad mother when her kids were little. Due to her performing career and social life, Jane spent little time with her children. Her son Troy once asked, "Why did you become a mom?" A question that crushed Jane's heart and showed her she had missed many critical times in her children's lives. Jane also thinks it's never too late. She wants to make up for previous mistakes by spending more time with her kids and strengthening their bond. Jane believes admitting faults is the first step to improvement. She has become a better mother in her later years, bringing her the joy and fulfillment she lacked in her youth. Jane Fonda is grateful to have reconciled with her father, Henry Fonda, before his death. Before Henry Fonda died in 1982, Jane informed her father she loved and forgiven him. For not being a perfect daughter, she prayed for his pardon. That moment was amazing because Jane saw her father cry for the first time. Jane received a wonderful present and an emotional experience. Reconciliation and forgiveness offered her serenity and helped her comprehend love and family. Jane Fonda knows life is too short for grudges and unfinished relationships. She always strives to reconcile with her loved ones and resolve everything. Jane's death and regret message is a life lesson. To live fully, to love, forgive, and finish everything when life ends. If Jane Fonda's tale moved you, leave a comment. To see more engaging and emotive videos on your favorite stars' travels, subscribe to the channel. See you next video.